Alright, guys, welcome back. We are watching Maiden Abyss Season 2, Episode 5. Last time, Rika ran around for a little bit, got into some trouble. It was it was a little bit rough. We met up with Faputa. Reg and Faputa had some interesting talks, some very I don't know, really some stuff between them that I am curious where that's gonna be expanded upon. Like the idea of like Reg's past and all of that is really, I don't know, that's always been a lingering question, right? And Midi is here, which is not good, honestly. Like it isn't good that Midi is here. If Midi was just not here, that would be like better, right? You know what I mean? Like I guess it's cool that like they aren't dead, like maybe, but we dealt with this, you know. So it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough for Nanachi. I don't know what we're gonna do. She has to deal with it again, I guess. It's just gonna suck. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where we're going with that. I'm curious to see. So we're watching episode 5. You can line your own copy up with this if you want to. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. What's up, Bailoff? Why are you here, Mitty? Hmm. I mean, we kind of know why she's here in a way, right? Bondru left her here. Oh, his eyes. Bailoff talking about eyes, remember that? Interesting. Waco, what is up with you? God, so many questions about stuff, huh? It felt like we got so many answers to like a decent number of things at like the end of the last season and kind of like in the movie. It felt like we were kind of being illuminated. And now just in this one village, there's so many questions about so many things, you know? I guess that's just like how stories work, but still. Gotta read the lyrics again. Hmm. Waiting for the day we achieve our true forms. Interesting. Very interesting. Hmm. 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 Lots of stuff to think about with the lyrics there. Concealment. Right, right. And I think that's about Voiko, right? Oh god, that's not good. Mm-hmm. Sure, I remember that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's, oh god. Yeah, it would be really easy to like get too low or too high as well, and then like just not even have any idea where to go. What's up, little things? Oh god. Great. That lanky beast. Turbinate dragon. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I guess. I wonder if there's some meaning behind that, it wanting to kill Reg like this. I don't know, huh? Because we know those robots were on this layer before, right? Oof. Oh, yeah, wow. Man. Oh, yeah. Predicting his movements probably with the force field, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, it probably doesn't want to fall. Okay. The other, yeah, the big guy. The big guy. That was with Fapta. What's up? Unfortunately, I don't think he can speak. I wonder. Oh, he can speak. Never mind. Your presence creates chaos. Yeah, very surprising. Okay. Oh, what? You can't stop Faputa. Stop her about what? I mean, they did kind of part in anger in a way. Is he trying to say Reg's in danger? Sure. Is he trying to say Reg's in danger in some way from Faputa? Or something more about not being able to stop her? And he can't stop the village either. Beast deterrence. Okay. Oh, okay, those weird like voodoo doll things. I forgot about those. Right, okay, okay. Makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Must be. God, that was a weird ass noise for that thing to make. Sure, sure. The Shoro layer. I mean, must be the name of the sixth layer in some way, right? Oh, he knows. Literally. God damn it. Interference units. Okay. So what about your own creation? Do you know about your own creation then? What is an interference unit? Placed in each layer. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I assume since the higher layers have been explored so much. Okay. Hmm. Exactly. Man, he doesn't know anything. Interesting. With all your freedom to uncover said data. There it is. God. Interesting. What's up, Wazukyan? How's it going? Do you have a mouth? Oh yeah, that's him. Same voice still. Well, I don't know about all of them. Maybe. Illustrious boss figures. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We haven't had one of those in a while. She hits someone with her ponytails. Very. Oh. Sure, sure. He's in a good mood. He's a happy guy, huh? I mean, this is his golden city, presumably of his creation in a way, right? That's what Baloff said he would do. I don't know what the sun smells like. Maybe that's just me. What? You're wiping the counter with a thing that's alive that has an eyeball? Yeah, like what is that? A favor. Oh, that would be very cool. I'd probably gonna take a while though. Okay. Oh God. This sounds complicated. Okay. What does that mean? What does that mean? Yeah, name of the village, but what are the parts of it? Village, cradle, mother. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sounds about right. Honbos. We're getting like a translation guide at least, right? So like it's she can just like use the sheet to try and communicate. Yeah, 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 yeah. Nice, nice. Mm-hmm. Under does this language exist anywhere outside of this village? Because I assume it's really evolved and changed over time. So it's probably just unique to here, which is very cool. Okay, I guess. No, I get it. No, I think I understand like the meaning behind that in a way. Oh, okay. The sacrifice hole. Dogupu within the eye. Interesting. Yeah. Only outsiders could come here. Ooh, interesting. The secret of the village. What is the secret of the village exactly? Of course, I'm wondering if this is where Voiko is, right? Oh, she can't. Okay. Sure. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I was right. It does work with the force field. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, okay. Oh. Oh, it's like the black stuff, right? This is it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, whoa. Oh, he can't come down here, right? Yeah, he's gonna be terrified. Or yeah. Thanks for the balancing, but it's also he's a villager, so he's not supposed to come down here, right? Yeah, I guess. So what are the things from the balancing, right? They have like eyes. Oh. What's up, Voiko? Oh man. Oh, this music. There she is. What's up, Voiko? How long have you been down here? All this time? How long has it been since you've seen light, seen another person? Oh, interesting. Yeah, she's been in darkness this whole time, right? Oh, man. What happens? Not quite. Sure. Probably a human, I think. Yeah. Okay, she names them. Yeah, yeah. I don't think they're down here, unfortunately. I don't think that's the problem. But good job, good job. Mm-hmm. Ah, yeah, so she... A signal. Okay, okay. No, I really think she is the one controlling the balancing. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, why are you stuck down here? And do you mean if you just touch them with and come off, like it would work for you as well? Oh, its origins aren't nice. Interesting. Oh, Faputa. Creators of hell ourselves. Is that what this place is? Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, okay. I agree, I suppose. What are the origins of it exactly, though? It's a safe place now. Yeah, at the very least. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like it really is that refuge that you guys were searching for when you came down, right? Ah, I don't believe you. Wanted to become something beyond human. Really? Maybe. I guess I can understand. Okay, okay. Sure, sure. No, yeah, no, I think she's just being very self-deprecating. Sure, sure. I guess she has come to understand that, huh? Faced with all this, everything she's dealt with lately. Whoa. Oh, it's gotta be rough down here, right? Was chosen by you. Mm-hmm. Unrelenting agony. Longing gets the better of instinct. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so let's get out of here. What is gonna happen now with Voiko escaped? You can do it. Come on. I have to pull her up. Okay, but what is gonna happen with Voiko out? Like, what's gonna happen to the balancing? What is gonna, you know? Oh yeah. Oh sure. Very. I bet it's awesome. Yeah, looks great. Looks great. Sure, sure. So where are we going? What are we gonna do? Gonna go talk to Watsukyan? I mean, she was sealed there, assumedly by them, right? The luring. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Even Baloff, huh? That's so hard for me to believe that even Baloff, after all of that between them, that he would yeah, he would do what if he knew she escaped? I don't step on them. Okay, okay. Um so what's happening with Mitty? Yeah, there she is. Oh yeah, Rico doesn't even know what Mitty looks like, right? Rico doesn't know that's Mitty. Yeah. Oh, he's crying. A human child, beautiful. Nanachi. Yeah, that's what we came for. Hmm. Sold self. For what? For Mitty? Oh my god. But what does that even do? And absorb Mitty. I don't know how happy that is, right? Just trapped forever. Trapped by Mitty again, in a way, right? By her feelings for Mitty. Oh, Paku. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Great. Right. He can eat her forever. Right. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. We can't just take her back because of the balancing, right? Well, Rico is out now, but oh, right, yeah, from the dream. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. So what do we do? Yeah, how do we get Nanachi back? I mean, we already got Midi back in a way, right? Nanachi bought Midi. So, okay. Yeah. Bondrude. Oh, yeah. Mini visit, so he's been down here many times. Real immortal. Mm-hmm. Does Bondrude have other clones of her? Why even come down here and show it to everyone? What was his purpose in doing that? And show Midi to everyone, right? Had her born by Iraburu. Oh. Oh, wow. He wanted Midi that bad. Okay. Wow, the village is that powerful, huh? Ah, interesting. Why? I don't think we're gonna do that. That wouldn't really help. Yeah. Sure. So, but what we can't really give him part of ourselves, right? Sure. Oh, the nails. Okay. I bet doubt that's enough though. Yeah. Oh God. I nope. I know. It's but none of those can happen. That's that really like we can't do that. That is just not going to be possible. Oh God, man. What is she willing to sacrifice? Oh wow. Okay. Hmm. Like what I'm thinking now is about how this system that is in place that seems like fair in this way. Is it really fair? Right? I was talking all in the last discussion and before about how it seems like this is like the perfect system, right? This whole value balancing system, this whole thing, because it's based off your subjective value of that thing, right? But with the situation I'm seeing now, I just can't help but feel like this situation can't be fair because it's hard to put it into words, but like the reason why people value things is different, right? Nanachi would always be willing to sacrifice anything for Midi, no matter what. The reason why Baloff wanted Midi was different than the reason why Nanachi wants Midi, right? And yet both of those things are being boiled down to some kind of same like value system, right? They have to be applied to the same like number of value points or whatever. When I don't know if that's possible, right? Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. Man, this season is really making me think. That's for sure. What's next? What's it going to be called? I just have no idea. I don't have a prediction. The luring. Sure. You know what? That one, that makes sense. I could have guessed that one if I really tried. Anyway, we will talk about the episode in the discussion. Okay, let's talk about the episode. So Nanachi and Midi, huh? We kind of talked about it last time too in the discussion, but we just need to figure out what is the purpose of what Nanachi is going through here for her as a character, right? So in season one, Nanachi dealt with every all of that stuff with Mitty, kind of the last I don't know 3 episodes of season 1 were all about Nanachi and Mitty's like relationship and like what that was, what that led to. Reg killing Mitty, Nanachi not really moving on in a way, right? I feel like Nanachi's feelings about Mitty now are kind of unclear in a way. I think they are to her as well. I don't know if she really has full closure or full like I don't really think she's moved past this whole like MIDI chapter in a way, and that sounds really mean to say, obviously, because it's like I don't think it's something she really needs to like move past. You know what I mean? But I mean like her reason for going down into the abyss is to her, or at least her stated reason that like in the movie she said like she doesn't think it's actually going to happen, right? But finding Mitty again at the bottom, right? Like Mitty's soul returning to the bottom of the abyss, right? Her motivation is still Mitty. At the very least, it comes from Mitty, right? Like the whole the relationship that they had when they were both at like Bondry's place, all of that. It's like Nanachi's desire for adventure and all of this, I think, partially was ignited through her relationship with Mitty, right? Um, so now she's facing Mitty again. So what does this mean? Like, what's different now, and what does this mean? For one, it's almost like much earlier than expected now. Nanachi is being faced with seeing Mitty again, right? Because we talked about that's almost like that's what we were working towards with her, right? That's kind of a motivation that she said, even though it's unclear whether she actually believes it's possible. But finding Mitty again at the bottom of the abyss, right? Her soul, whatever that means. So it's like, okay, well, here's Mitty again, right? So what is different between before and now that is going to have an impact on the way Nanachi interacts with Mitty here, right? Like, what lesson is Nanachi going to learn, or what's going to happen through Mitty being here? Because Nanachi is definitely different now than she was before when she was still, like, stuck on the 4th layer, right? Because she's been adventuring now, right? She's actually fulfilling her desire to go down into the abyss, right? Do all of that stuff, right? And she's changed quite a bit, like through the events of the movie and all of that stuff. She's certainly changed and developed as a character ever since Mitty's death. I mean, here's Mitty again. So the question is, how is that going to impact the way she deals with Mitty here? You know what I mean? Obviously, she sells herself to get Mitty back, right? I don't blame her, right? I don't think that's going to be a permanent thing. I don't think we're going to be leaving Mitty. I don't think we're going to be leaving Nanachi in the village forever. So, if I had to guess, this is going to be a real separation between Nanachi and Mitty that I imagine is going to be like what, more final, more I don't know, more meaningful in some way, because when Reg killed Mitty, it wasn't really for Nanachi, right? It was for Mitty, right? It was the best thing to do for Mitty, right? Mitty would have wanted that through Rika's dream. I think we know Mitty is better off not being stuck in that body, her soul, right? So now that we have this clone of her, this copy of her, unless we want to start talking about like the fact that this is a copy of Mitty, I guess there's going to be 2 Mittys now. I don't know. That's like there's 2 of Mitty's souls now. I don't know how that works. I just wonder if Nanachi will get some kind of more meaningful closure herself through whatever is going to happen with Mitty here, right? I don't know. I'm just really curious. I don't, because there has to be some kind of difference now in Nanachi's like mindset and behavior that isn't just going to make this a repeat of what happened before. Like, obviously, right? I'm just curious where we're going with it. Some lines from Boyko. She's done a good job taking over the Liza narrator spot. The village is a closed cradle. If one becomes its captive, what they value will shift. What they long for will appear before them. In an eternal peace, their journey will end. So again, it's like the village really is just this, not a paradise, but it really is. It's just this place of refuge that they were searching for originally, that Ganja wanted to find down in the 6th layer. What do we mean by it's a closed cradle exactly, right? You become a captive here. It's almost like you become captive to your desires here, to what you value. Similar, I mean, that literally happens with Nanachi in this episode, right? She sells herself for what she values. So I guess the interesting question there, maybe this is what we're meant to be thinking about, is like what is, I guess, like what's important, right? What you value, like is it worth it to become captive by and surrender yourself fully to what you desire and what you value? Or will there always be things like beyond that, more things you can find and do? So you should never like truly surrender yourself entirely to something like that, you know? The interesting part of that question, of course, is the abyss itself essentially also represents that in a much larger scale, right? The abyss itself is also something you can't turn around from, that you can't leave, you know. But I think the abyss itself is so broad and represents so many things and represents so much potential that it is much more than like any specific like desire or value that like any individual person would have. So I think surrendering yourself to the abyss is different than being stuck in the closed cradle, becoming captive to your value, the same way that like Nanachi did in this episode, or essentially all of the hollows in the village kind of have in a way, you know? It's very interesting. It's, I guess, like the question it raises in my mind is if there's something you really value, something that's so important to you, like for Riko, right? Finding her mother at the bottom of the abyss. Um, should you fully, should you become like captive and fully dedicated to that, right? Like if you have the kind of opportunity Nanashi did in this episode, and you can sacrifice yourself essentially for that value, for that desire, should you do that in a way, or will there always be like more to find, I suppose, right? Because like Rico has had like moments like that, like in the movie, right? When Prushka and her are talking, and we talk about all of the reasons Rico has now to go into the abyss, and how it's much more than just one single thing, right? It's like this big collection of things have formed together to form what her desire is to go to continue further into the abyss, right? Nanachi hasn't really reached that step. Nanachi, it's really this MIDI thing. She hasn't really dealt with it in a way where I just don't know. I feel like she needs to deal with it. She needs some kind of closure on this to really be able to reach that same kind of step that like Rico's on. And I think maybe that's kind of what the village is in general, right? All of the characters here, because you have to remember when they come to the village, they stop. They can't keep going down into the abyss, and that's why they were here in the first place, right? These were all people who were going down into the abyss, and this is where they stop, and they get a body in line with their desires, but now they're captive here. Hmm. What they long for will appear before them, and in eternal peace their journey will end. And the question, I suppose, is eternal peace worth it if your journey ends, right? Whatever you want to imagine your journey ending means, you know, is that worth it, right? And that only took us 10 minutes to get through the first 30 seconds of the episode. Reg's lost. Unlucky. Can't use the Omagiri because there's no growing here. I don't remember. Is the Omagiri the ones that always point north, or are those the leaves that point to the center? To even be able to use that, Reg would have to know what direction the village is in the first place. So I don't know if that would even help, right? Because he's lost. So Reg not being here is interesting because him not being here while all this MIDI stuff is going down, because Reg had the second like closest link to MIDI in a way. MIDI was kind of this thing that Reg and Nanashi shared so deeply. I wonder what he would think about MIDI being here. The turbanid dragon is chasing Reg, which is rough. What I'm wondering, it's really like voraciously chasing him. It really wants to kill him. I wonder if that is in some way related to. We learn all this stuff about the interference units, the robots on the layers, stuff like that. We know they were here before, and they still are. I wonder if the turbanid dragons have like learned to be aggressive towards them, if they have some reason to like hate them, want to kill them, you know? And that's why it's attacking Reg so viciously. Why it's chasing him? Yeah, chasing him forever? Maybe. It depends on what the purpose of them is, right? Big robot guy, we don't know his name, do we? He he doesn't know either. He doesn't know who their creator is. He says their purpose is to just like gather knowledge and know things. Um, which is interesting. I mean, it sounds like something that someone put into the abyss. It sounds like some kind of system that like a future society would use to learn about the abyss rather than just sending people down there to die, you know? But I don't think that's it. That would be kind of crazy, you know? Um, so I don't know what is the purpose of them. It seems like their purpose would be to learn about the abyss, right? But if we're saying Reg came from low down in the abyss and he's so much like these interference units, then we would think that they came from the bottom of the abyss and worked their way up. Oh God, but now I'm really having some theories now. Like, what if there were people? What if there's some kind of society stuck at the bottom of the abyss, right? Because that would be a motivation they would have to make these robots that are immune to the curse that can go up the layers and learn about the abyss, right? Because for them it's uncharted, unexplorable territory. The same way going down into the abyss is for people on the surface, right? Because they can't go up because the curse traps them down there, you know. I just maybe that's a crazy theory, but that would certainly be a motivation to create the interference units if you're already at the bottom of the abyss, right? Some kind of society that's been down there for like forever. I mean, it's been so long they don't even know like what the abyss is or where they are. They just know they can't escape. You know, make these robots to learn about things. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Big robot guy saves us, thank God. The turbinate dragon can also vomit things at us, so that's some good knowledge, I suppose. Maybe that'll come up. Your presence creates chaos, so big robot guy is talking. Therefore, I removed you. It is required that you leave as soon as you can. He really wants us to leave because his presence creates chaos. I cannot stop Fapita, which really makes me think, like, because Reg is here, it's making Faputa do something, right? He really wants Reg to leave because it's creating chaos, specifically with Faputa, I think, right? Nor can I stop that village. Interesting. So it's like he's putting Faputa in the village and like, I don't know, like either opposing sides or like equal terms in a way. Like they're both doing things about something, you know? It's kind of, we don't know anything, right? Hmm. So he kind of explains some stuff to us, but he unfortunately doesn't really know much either. He tells us about the beast deterrents, which were those crazy doll things with the hair inside of them. I guess they were like nice. So thank you, Papata. Papata began to doubt that you were you, so she tested you, of course. Upon reaching the Shuro layer, you made no attempt to search for her. So the sixth layer is called the Shuro layer. What does that mean? I don't think that's like a normal Japanese word, right? I assume that's in some weird abyss language, so it could really mean anything, you know? You must restore your missing data. I have no data on interference units of your kind. I am an interference unit. We observe and touch to gather knowledge. Interference, interference units were placed on each layer, but transmissions from the others cease long ago, which makes sense, right? As Orth has explored the abyss, I bet they've killed them all, or captured them all, or it could have been even longer since before Orth discovered the abyss, right? Or the society that, we now know as Orth, whoever those people were who came here and discovered it, right? Hmm. Your design is similar to mine, but interference units do not cross layers. Okay, maybe my whole theory is completely wrong. Well, no, maybe it isn't. He's just saying the interference units don't cross layers. That doesn't mean it's impossible for them to. They might just not be programmed to, like, do so, right? So they all could have still came from the bottom of the abyss and worked their way up. They just had, like, an assigned layer to go to, and they just, like, stayed there, right? Hmm. And he doesn't know his creator either, unfortunately. I would ask you, with all your freedom, to uncover said data. Interesting. Of course, he wants to know. He wants to know who his creator is. That's his purpose, is to is to collect data, right? Is to know things. Iraburu, the village. I always think about what Reg said the first time he saw the village, which it looks like a corpse of a large creature. And like other than the bloody hole, I'm really not seeing it. It looks like a tree. But I mean the top looks like weird, right? There's like a tendril of some kind, and man, it's something. Rico hanging out with Wazukyan. He's in a good mood. Although some of them might be a bit of a pain at times. As you can see, they all mean well. Those ones that we met last episode with Rico, I don't know if they meant well, unfortunately. But like, sure, I guess. Three sages created the village. Yes, 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 of course. Accidentally stopped the recording. We get another Rico slaps someone with her pigtails moment. We haven't had one of those in a while. A classic, a classic. And Wazi-Khan thinks it's great. I'm sure he has, I don't know, does he know what a white whistle even is? Maybe. Bondrewd has been down here. I assume if Bondrewd's been down here a bunch, apparently. So it makes you think, right? Like, what is the purpose of that? For one, what's the purpose of that? How much do these people know about, like, Bondrewd and, like, the outside world and all of that just through Bondrewd coming here, you know? I don't know. I don't know. Kind of smells like the sun. I wish I knew what the sun smelled like. So Rico wants to learn the language. It's an interesting language where all of these words, yeah, there are a lot of words in which many actions and names are stuck together. This word means 40% to request, 30% special, 30% stimulus. So I guess it's like a very, I don't know, very context-driven language, I suppose, right? Man, Iraburu, 50% village, 40% cradle, 10% mother. I guess that makes sense, right? Like village, of course, cradle, the same way that like Voiko is explaining it as, you know, a cradle for your desires almost. A closed cradle. 10% mother, I guess I mean that makes sense, I suppose, right? Just like it's the place that allows them to be alive. It's like their mother, I guess. Hmm. So Rico learns a whole bunch, writes down a translation sheet. Very helpful, very helpful. Hmm. Now I really want to get my hands on a human child. That is a weird thing to say, but I think I still understand, right, how children in this village would be very valuable because they represent so much like untapped like desire and potential and like values to be formed, that kind of thing, you know? Like, because it's interesting if you think about the way that value works in this village. Your own perception of your own desires changing over time, like as you get older, as you grow from being a child to an adult, that typically changes a lot, will also change like the value of things, right? Because your perception of those things is what controls it, you know? Which is interesting. So we go down into Dogupu, within the eye. The villagers can't go here. It's where Vraco is. So it seems like this, yeah, it's this place where Vraco has been trapped for probably thousands of years, if I had to guess, a very long time. Trapped in complete darkness. She didn't even know she was a human still, because I assume it has been so dark down here for so long. She just didn't even know she was a person, you know? I mean, beyond that, it's like I'm surprised she hasn't lost her mind completely, right? Like being stuck down here forever, you know? I guess she has some form of outside stimulus, right? She has the signals, which is like it's like what Majika just said, the signals of the soul, right? She has the signals which she can like interact with the village with in some way. It's still unclear if she has any part in controlling the balancing, if she does anything with that, or if she's just stuck down here, right? Um, or both, right? Obviously. I mean, she is stuck down here no matter what, but I mean, whether or not she is just trapped here and serves no other purpose, or if she controls the balancing, right? Hmm. How long has it been since she has seen another person? Man. Oh my, so I still look like a human. It also makes you think that she must have assumed she wouldn't be human anymore, right? She had some reason to think that she isn't human, right? I mean, that's what she says in a moment. She has this very negative view of herself and her actions and this village and everything, you know. She calls herself a bad person and says she wanted to transcend humanity in a way, right? Hmm. I'm Vrero Erko? I don't know how to say that. Voika. I'm gonna stick with Voika. How's that sound? I name these little guys and sing and stuff since I have lots of free time. Yeah. So the little balancing guys are like cute and nice, I guess. Are they like people, right? What are they? Some kind of consciousness of the village itself, you know? Hmm. Looking for Ragananachi, and she knows about them because of the signals, of course. Hmm. So she can't take these off. If you just touch them while thinking come off, that alone should be enough. The shot of her eye really makes you it gives this line kind of like this ominous vibe where you're thinking it's like somehow in some way like sinister, what she's requesting. But I don't really think it is. I don't think Rika makes a mistake here freeing her. I think too, I imagine, if you just touch them while thinking come off, that alone should be enough. I imagine that she herself is unable to do that then, right? Like, not that she's unable to free herself, like literally, that it doesn't let her, but that she herself thinks she deserves to be trapped here, so she can't touch them while truly wanting to be freed, so they don't come off, right? Which makes sense with the way she views herself here, right? Are you a bad person or something? This village, its origins aren't very nice. You could even say it's cursed. What kind of sacrifices, I wonder, did we make to have this village exist, Because that certainly seems to be like the kind of person I would imagine Wazukyan being, right? Like, in the very first scenes in the first episode, right? All those people dying in their ships, I feel like there's a different context you could take that in now with most of Wazukyan's like crew dying immediately, And obviously, Wazukyan didn't really have any part of that, right? But he did embark all of these people on a journey to the abyss where a bunch of them died, right? Not really his fault, but interesting, right? I just wonder if that's similar to whatever the origins of this village are, right? Because it makes you think, right? With what Bailoff said about Wazukyan in the first episode, I imagine he is the kind of person who would do anything to find the Golden City, right? Even if it doesn't exist, he will find it, right? That's what Bailoff said. So it's like he would do anything to find it, I imagine. And I myself have something to do with that. I don't know if I should believe her. I don't know if she's blaming herself unjustly. I think she's definitely the kind of person to do that. In hell, we got so numb to everything, and we ended up being creators of hell ourselves. And then, even though it was too late to do anything about that, I still insisted on at least opposing the creation of this village. They ended up creating hell. As a result, I got sealed away in this darkness. So, I mean, immediately this seems like it's just not her fault at all, right? Whatever happened with the creation of the village, because she opposed it, and they sealed her away here because of that, right? Again, I'm assuming it was Wazukyan, maybe even Bailoff, I guess, right? She doesn't want to be seen by Bailoff. Um, hmm. Through the signals, I've watched over this village the whole time, and although its origin is horrific, it's not a bad place now, which is an interesting thing to think, right? Whether or not it's worth it, whatever the origin of it is. The children who ended up distorted at this gathering place of curses may have lost their human bodies, but their souls remain, and they managed to keep carrying on. Interesting. It really is. It's just like the place they would have wanted. I am a bad person. I was blinded by greed and wanted to become something beyond human. So I came to this terrible place. Blinded by greed and wanted to become something beyond human. What does it mean to become beyond human, right? Um, what they wanted through coming down to the sixth layer, through exploring the abyss, was some kind of way to escape, right? They wanted an escape from like real life and from their situation. Um, what does it mean though to become beyond human in that way, though, to like transcend beyond those kinds of struggles and issues, Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, because I guess with Boiko's horrible backstory and everything, she seems like a very, very tortured person in a way, right? I mean, even her situation now is awful, right? I just don't know how seriously to take it, this idea of her being blinded by greed, because I think with the way her entire life has been, I just wonder what does she mean by greed exactly, right? Like what is being greedy to her? Is wanting to be free from these chains? Is that being greedy? Is that being blinded by greed? Hmm. But Rico frees her. To be honest, I don't care if you're a bad person. Once it's too late, that's it. And Rico has faced that kind of thing much more in the movie, in like episode 10. Ever since then, seeing what happened with Nanachi and Midi, hearing all about that. Yeah, and Ma's struggling over there. Unrelenting agony. Longing sometimes gets the better of instinct. Right, Rico. Very interesting that she says that, because it's like it makes you think like she's referring to what, like Rico freeing her, right? Like, because Rico's first instinct was to think about whether or not she's a bad person, whether or not she should do it. I guess. I feel like there's some deeper meaning to that line for sure, though, than just this immediate situation, you know? I mean, obviously, it's just kind of true in general, right? This longing is a very powerful force. We see that in this episode and in other ways as well, with like Nanachi and Midi, right? Voiko escapes. She's up here. I wonder, so what are the effects going to be now that she's up here, right? Is the balancing, is it going to affect the balancing in some way? Why was she down there? What was her purpose being down there if she had one? And I guess what would they do to her now if they know she's escaped? Would they just throw her back down there, I guess, you know? But like who? Who would do it? Wazukyan, I assume, but really Bailoff would too? Yeah, if Bailoff finds out I escaped, it'd be bad. I just wonder what happened between her and Bailoff, because he seemed so supportive of her and like such a nice guy in episode 1, right? It's so hard for me to believe that he would be fine with her being trapped down there forever and want to throw her back down, but I guess it really depends, you know? Because in a way, of course, Bailoff, just like everyone else here who has been turned into one of these hollows, right? Other than Voiko, has became captive by their desires, I suppose, the way that Voiko would say it, right? Which is interesting. It makes you think, right? Is Bailoff, I think Bailoff is different now than he was back then, you know? It's like, it's interesting how Voiko views it as being blinded by greed when becoming more than human, but it's like she was the only one able to resist the temptation of whatever you want to say this village represents in that way, becoming captive to your desires, because Bailoff has now, in a sense too, right? So Rico sees Mitty, and here is Bailoff, really excited to see Rico. I wonder what exactly Bailoff desires, you know? Hmm. He wanted to eat Mitty, that's for sure. Well, it's not even. So the important thing about Mitty was the crystallization of love around her, essentially, right? That kind of thing, right? So I wonder if that is what Bailoff truly desires, right, or values. It's just that's such a vague thing. I just don't know what that means exactly, right? I wonder if that's something that Mitty and Rico share in a way, and that's why Bailoff reacts this way to Rico as well, right? Nanachi has given up herself for Mitty. Yeah, we've talked about this. Both are forever happy. I don't think so. Both are here forever, very happy. I just don't, like this can't be right, right? There's no way you should give yourself up for Mitty in this way, right? This can't be a happy ending. Very happy. And I guess that's just what we're supposed to think about, right? Hmm. Yeah, like seeing Haku. No kidding. And then Bailoff began to absorb Mitty. Of course, naturally. Why wouldn't he? Please don't hurt Mitty anymore, and sold herself. And Rico knows Mitty, of course, from the dream, right? Never saw Mitty in this forum, but knows Mitty's eyes. Yeah. Hmm. What do I have to do to get Nanachi and Mitty back? Bondrude brought her, which we talked about this before, right? I still really question Bondrude's like it's so weird. We talked about this last time, but it's so infuriating in a way because Bondrewd has had the ability to go down into the abyss this whole time. He could go down to the bottom if he wanted to for fun, right? He's immortal, right? But he still doesn't. He still stays up at the fifth layer and researches and does all this stuff because I think in some weird way he truly does think and is in a way doing it for like the greater good of society or whatever, which is fucking infuriating. But like, I guess, right? If he only cared about the benefits of this science and stuff for himself, he would just go down into the abyss now. He's done it, right? For himself, he has conquered the curse and he's immortal. He can go do whatever he wants. But oh man, But the signal of love is an intermediary, a strongly crystallized curse, in some sense an incarnation of the netherworld. I wanted her at any cost. So what about that is so attractive to Baloth? No matter what I offered, he would not give her to me. So then the village itself created Midi. So the village is God and can do anything. So that's good to know. Yeah, the balancing just came and took all of these parts of him, everything. It just assessed the value for Midi, and it made a perfect reproduction of Midi at that moment. Even the soul was copied. And to obtain that, Nanachi gave everything as compensation. And that really... yeah. And it's like, this is just a representation of the way Nanachi already was, like, living her life before, right? She had already stopped living and had abandoned her desires and her goals, stuck with Midi forever on the fourth layer, right? And now, I mean, this is just a very literal representation of that, right? So Baloth gives Rico... Rico tries to offer something. It's not enough. She's got to give more, which is both of her eyes, both of her legs, or half of her innards. Which we can't do that. We can't do that. We need Nanachi back, but we can't do that. None of those options are going to work. So, because I feel like, now I just feel like we need some kind of rejection of the way that this village views all of this in general, you know? It's like, I was talking before about how this is all perfectly fair and all of this, and in a sense it is. But I also think it's just impossible. It's impossible to have a perfect system, or to even assign value to these kinds of desires like this, right? And I just think this ultimatum he's giving Rico here of what she has to give up to get Nanachi back just shows that, right? Because it's just, it's just not fair. It's just not fair, and it doesn't make sense. It just can't be right, you know? I don't know. It's such a stark example of, like, what the village really is and how the system works. That we need a rejection of this kind of system, essentially. We need to not do this, right? I want you to choose. Well, something's gonna happen where we don't have to choose, like, for sure. There's no way Riko's giving up both of her legs to get Nanachi back, right? That would be insane, right? Not gonna happen. No way. I think Rico has learned to... Like, I think there's some lessons Rico has learned where she's not gonna be... Like, she'd be willing to sacrifice stuff for Nanachi, but not, like, in that way, right? It's just this... It being, like, this direct exchange like this, it's just so... Really rubs you the wrong way, you know? Anyway, I guess that's it. Man, this season really makes you think, doesn't it? This has really been something. But yeah, I suppose that's it. So if you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think. And I'll see you in the next one.